Is there a downside to Costco's generous return policy? Between moldy bacon, spoiled fish, and other culinary horrors, we'd have to say yes. Due to its perishable nature, this one shouldn't feel too surprising. General produce like spinach, avocados, oranges, and salad kits appears to be a top returned food item purchased from Costco. Across online platforms, alleged employees and shoppers confirm this, citing issues such as soggy greens or rotten berries that ultimately end in a customer refund. One alleged Costco worker offered up an explanation as to the potential why behind the quality issues associated with the company's fresh produce. They wrote, "Entire problem is the Costco supply chain is not keeping produce well refrigerated. I'd say 95% of boxes of clamshell lettuce I see at Costco are already going bad while sitting there in a store. Yet I can walk down to the local grocery store and have zero such problems with clamshell container lettuce. Given the mass piles of perishables stocked by Costco at any given time, we can certainly see how keeping them sufficiently chilly might be a hurdle. Still, refrigeration might not be the only problem, and there are many other factors that could be at play. All we know is that slimy salad kits are brought back to the warehouse relatively frequently in the Costco universe. With its competitive prices, there's no better place than Costco to stock up on bottles of wine, cases of beer, or handles of liquor for a large event."
When they're here picking up groceries and get a case of beer, a bottle of wine, some coolers, it's really good.
But what happens if the crowd drinks less than you anticipated? Well, thankfully, throngs of customers report that the company's generous return policy extends to previously purchased alcohol. As long as the state's liquor laws allow for it, Costco will take back that case of IPA no one touched. And if you're worried it might feel weird to take advantage of this particular policy, rest assured a number of online threads suggest shoppers take advantage of this benefit in spades. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. And some employees appear to hold contempt for the alcohol return policy. One alleged worker on Reddit described their attempt to talk management into dissolving this policy. Their reasoning was that liquor, and beer and wine in particular, is sensitive to temperature changes. For example, drinks that have cooked in the hot sun at a barbecue over the course of an afternoon might have their taste permanently altered as a result. This may cause issues for the next shopper who places them in their cart when they ultimately go back on the floor for resale. Despite return clerks' disdain, however, the policy still stands. Between mass event returns and a widespread Costco vodka recall in 2023, it's safe to say that booze makes the cut as a top returned item. It isn't hard to tell when chicken has gone bad, but there's nothing more disheartening than when it has. It's never fun to peel open that bag of breasts you purchased from Costco, your pan and seasonings already prepped, only to be sent back reeling by a whiff of stinking poultry. And while your meal plans may indeed be ruined for the evening, you can at least get your money back. It's a sad reality that chicken, with its perishable nature, can spoil relatively quickly. Considering the chicken needs to take the long journey through a processing facility and gets thrown into the back of a transport truck before it ends up on shelves, it's not particularly surprising it can turn quickly. Online reports of spoiled chicken breasts abound among Costco goers, who usually don't notice the bird's contaminated condition until after they are already home. As one customer wrote, "I bought a pack of chicken breast a few days ago from Costco that wasn't supposed to expire till June 18th. I opened it today and there was a rotten smell and some of the pieces were starting to go off color. The good news? Under these conditions, Costco will always refund the affected products. Rather than carting the stinking chicken back to the warehouse in your car, however, alleged shoppers and employees alike recommend bagging and freezing the item before transport to eliminate the issue of more bacterial growth. There's a reason fishermen throw their catches on a big bed of ice the second they pull them out of the water. Seafood's freshness can be very temperamental. Despite Costco's best efforts to keep its outsourced seafood in good shape for its crowds of hungry shoppers, many online reports confirm spoiled fish still happens. Slimy fish with a questionable stench days before its sell-by date is reported relatively frequently in online discussion forums. And, perhaps unsurprisingly, the recommended course of action in this situation is to return it. As one Redditor wrote in a thread discussing a shopper's rancid salmon, "Bag it, freeze it, take it in on your next trip. Give them a call now to let them know about it so they can put comments in your membership that you've already notified them. This way they know you're not just bringing in old fish if you can't make the return trip sometime soon." While salmon seems to have the most consistent issues, products like sea bass or Dungeness crab pop up on occasion as well. Keep this information in mind before your next Costco seafood run.
That sounds fishy.
Despite its bad reputation, red meat can be worked healthfully into many diets. Rich in iron, protein, zinc, and more, the occasional serving of ground beef, steak, or lamb can serve up some great-tasting vitamins and minerals. But what should a juicy slab of steak decidedly not serve up? Well, food poisoning for a start. Eating spoiled red meat can lead to illness if consumed, which is why many Costco patrons who crack open a smelly pack of beef immediately wrap it up and bring it back to the warehouse for a refund. Unfortunately, incidents regarding bad red meat ending in returns pop up relatively frequently frequently on online platforms. But should you be on the receiving end of a spoiled rack of lamb in the future, it's worth noting that alleged Costco employees insist the item in question must be brought back to the warehouse from which it was purchased to receive your money back. This is obviously not the easiest task where dripping, deteriorating meat is involved, so you may want to consider wrapping it in multiple bags or freezing prior to making the trek. A 40-ounce bag of mixed nuts from Costco averages around $14.99. While this is an economical price for such a large bag of portable, healthy fats and proteins, it still means $15 for nothing if said bag is inedible. Sadly, many Costco members have been left mourning their cash after tasting their almonds, pistachios, or cashews at home. Rancid or burned batches of various roasted nuts from the wholesaler are commonly brought up in Costco return discussions on online platforms like Reddit. My first Costco food return in 21 years reads the title of one of these threads, which features a photo of Kirkland's fancy mixed nuts product. The thread was littered with customers calling out the retailer's walnuts, pecans, cashews, and other nut varieties for flavor and texture issues that have ended in issued refunds. It's worth noting that it is not unusual for high-fat, high-oil foods like nuts to go bad more quickly. These products are chock full of lipids, which oxidate, so it's perfectly natural for there to be a few spoiled bags among Costco's copious good ones. If you happen to snag a bad bag in the future, don't despair. You can always return it and grab another. Chances are this second batch will be just perfect for your next healthy homemade snack. We've all done it. Opened a pack of savory bacon intent on fixing a breakfast to die for, only to be met with a collection of pork slices covered in slime. Sadly, spoiled bacon happens often, and no grocery store is immune from putting out a bad pack every now and then.
What the hell is this?
Since this is just the way the pork sizzles, it shouldn't come as too big of a shock that bacon is included among the top returned food items from the wholesale company. The internet is littered with posts created by consumers reporting moldy, stinky, and slimy bags of bacon from their favorite membership club. As one customer wrote, "I buy the Kirkland brand bags of bacon bits quite regularly, great for salads. I opened a new bag this past week and was a little horrified at the fact that the bacon was rampant with mold. Obviously need to return. But I can't get to a Costco soon, and now this bag is fully open, the meat will deteriorate even faster. Luckily, there's plenty of advice on how to go about getting a refund for that bad batch of bacon online as well. Either zipping the affected bacon into a plastic bag, freezing prior to transport, or taking a close-up photo of the putrid slices seem to be acceptable methods. Of course, the best way to go will depend on your individual Costco and its requirements. While we certainly hope you're spared the disappointment of a ruined breakfast, we encourage you to follow in your fellow shoppers' footsteps and get a refund for your pork-induced sorrow if you're not.
It's a done deal. It's pretty much a done deal.
We all dream of a perfectly cold, fresh pour of milk to dump over our morning cereal, but when it comes to Costco's dairy or almond milk variants, this dream is not always a reality for shoppers. Issues like broken safety seals resulting in leaking containers and spoiled contents are reported relatively frequently by warehouse shoppers. In fact, one Costco goer posted to Reddit about an even weirder milk mishap they experienced. They wrote, "We recently bought the 3-pack of 2% organic milk, and upon opening the pack, we realized one of the cartons was totally empty yet sealed like the rest of the cartons. And given Costco's gracious return policy, there's no reason to simply toss that gallon you cannot use into the garbage when you can have your money refunded. Members can, and do, take advantage of this benefit when they receive blemished milk, and the Costco return desk employees don't blame them." As one self-professed employee on Reddit wrote in response to a customer's post complaining about a drippy carton, "Honestly, at my membership desk, I'd give you the refund purely for the hassle of needing to deal with a leaky gallon of milk, regardless of if you brought it back." While this particular customer probably regretted buying milk at Costco at that moment, we're sure that these incidents are the exception and not the norm. We wish you luck in selecting one with proper freshness in the future. Bread. You may know it as the outer layer of your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or the vessel for our avocado toast. From wheat to white to sourdough, bread is featured in diets all around the globe. And since Costco is one of the leading membership retailers, it's safe to say a large chunk of the world's bread is purchased from the wholesaler. But if you're planning a bulk buy of some Dave's Killer bread from the warehouse anytime soon, you may want to brace yourself for the possibility of return. Recently, various types of Costco bread have come under fire for quality issues. Online reports of moldy products from both the bakery and bread aisles abound, and consumers don't hesitate to throw the fuzzy-looking loaves right back into their trunks for a refund. Some people, however, insist that mold growth on Costco's bread isn't necessarily a bad thing. For example, one Redditor noting that bagels that haven't been processed as much as other options will mold faster. To stave off some less than stellar spores following your next fresh bread purchase, you may want to consider refrigerating or freezing your haul to extend its shelf life. Avoiding storage on the counter might be the way to go if you want to avoid the hassle of a moldy return. Yogurt is a delicious, easy way to scoop some extra protein and probiotics into your diet. If you're particularly fond of the smooth dairy-based treat, Costco is a great spot to stock up on large amounts of yogurt for cheap. From large tubs to single-serving cups, Costco Wholesale has got you covered for your yogurt needs. At least, it seems that way. But after you get your haul home, grab a spoon, and peel off the safety seal, the contents might not be what you expect. Posts made by disappointed shoppers on online platforms declaring the presence of mold in their various yogurt products from Costco go back years. More recently, the issue of moldy dairy from the company was staggeringly widespread.
Everybody stop! Put down your gooseberry and cinnamon yogurts!
In September 2024, a nationwide recall on strawberry-flavored Greek yogurt cups from Costco was issued in Canada. Notably, returns were granted to all customers who had made a purchase from the affected batches. Between this event and the more isolated incidents that came before, Costco yogurt appears to have gained a reputation as a frequently returned item. Whether it's enchilada or burrito night, you're going to need tortillas. It may seem like a no-brainer to add the grain product to your Costco list. However, customer reports indicate the track record of Costco's assorted tortilla selection is less than perfect and often ends in returns. In one Reddit thread, a user reported that they'd been buying the same brand of tortillas from the wholesaler for years, but recently they started encountering issues. They wrote, "About 3 months ago, I bought a bag and it developed this mold. I returned it and got another one. Same thing in one bag and spotted green mold in the other. The third time, I purposefully used both bags quickly and still had to toss a few at the ends." They went on to say they held off on buying another bag for a month in case the issue had to do with the singular batch. Sadly, they encountered the same problem and posted a picture of the moldy tortillas as proof. Unfortunately, this consumer is not alone in their experiences, and mold appears to routinely be the cause for tortilla refunds. The next time you buy your wraps from Costco, maybe consider sectioning them out and popping them in the freezer to preserve shelf life. Doing so might just save you an inconvenient ride back to the warehouse. After all,